The key trembles in my hand. I shouldn't be here, standing in the hallway of an apartment building I've never seen before, clutching a spare key I found hidden in David's tackle box, the same tackle box that's supposed to hold fishing lures for his weekend trips with the guys. My heart hammers against my ribs as I slide the key into apartment for B. The lock clicks open with a soft whisper of betrayal. The scent hits me first, sandalwood and vanilla, nothing like our home's familiar lavender. Everything is wrong. Everything is different. The furniture is modern where ours is traditional. Abstract art hangs where family photos should be. This isn't just a hideaway, this is a life, Sarah. You're home early. I freeze. The voice comes from the kitchen, warm, loving, completely at ease. A woman's voice. And she called me, Sarah. My reflection catches in the hallway mirror. Auburn hair where mine is blonde. Green eyes instead of blue. But the same height, the same build. Close enough in dim light. Close enough to fool a man who keeps to lives. Footsteps approach. I should run. Should flee back to my car and pretend this never happened. Instead, I find myself moving deeper into this impossible apartment. Drawn by a fascination I can't name, she appears in the kitchen doorway, and my breath catches. She's beautiful, effortlessly so, in a way that makes my chest tight with something that isn't quite jealousy. Her smile is radiant, meant for someone she loves, meant for my husband. You look pale, she says, crossing to me with concern etched in her features. Did something happen at work? Her hand touches my forehead, checking for fever. The contact sends an unexpected jolt through me, not anger, not hurt, but something far more dangerous. Something that makes me lean into her touch instead of pulling away. I'm fine, I whisper, my voice catching slightly. She doesn't notice the difference, or maybe she does, because her eyes narrow with gentle worry. You don't sound fine. Her thumb traces along my temple, a gesture so intimate it steals my breath. Come sit down. I'll make you some tea. I should tell her, should shatter this moment with truth. Instead, I let her guide me to the couch, their couch, and watch as she moves around their kitchen like she owns it, because she does, at least. She thinks she does. David called earlier, she says over her shoulder, and the name on her lips makes my stomach clench. He's working late again tonight. Some big presentation tomorrow. Lies, all lies. David is at home, probably wondering where I am, probably spinning another story about my book club running long. She returns with steaming mugs, settling beside me on the couch, close enough that I can smell her perfume, jasmine and amber, intoxicating and completely unfamiliar. She's nothing like me, nothing like the woman David married 7 years ago. So why does she feel like everything I've been missing? Talk to me, she says softly. What's really wrong? The question hangs between us, loaded with possibilities I dare not voice. What's wrong is that I followed my husband and found his other life. What's wrong is that I'm sitting in another woman's living room, pretending to be someone I'm not. What's wrong is that I don't want to leave. Sometimes, I hear myself say, I feel like I don't know who I am anymore. Her hand finds mine, fingers, intertwining with a familiarity that shouldn't exist but does. I know exactly what you mean. The admission surprises us both. We sit in silence, hands joined, breathing synchronized. The late afternoon sun slants through windows I've never seen before, casting golden light across a life I'm not supposed to know exists. Sarah, she whispers, and the name that isn't mine sounds like a prayer on her lips. I turn to look at her, really look at her, and something shifts in the air between us. Recognition without understanding, desire without permission. She leans closer, and I don't pull away. The space between us crackles with electricity I can't explain. You're different today, she murmurs, her eyes searching my face. There's something, I can't put my finger on it. I should be terrified she'll discover the truth. Instead, I find myself studying the curve of her lips, the way her pulse flutters at her throat. Different how, more present, like you're really seeing me for the first time. Her laugh is soft, self-conscious. God, listen to me. We've been together 3 years, and I'm talking like we just met. 3 years. The number hits me like a physical blow. David has been living this life for 3 years, coming home to me with her perfume still clinging to his skin, her name still warm on his tongue. Maybe we did just meet, I say, surprising myself with the honesty hidden in the lie. She tilts her head, curiosity sparking in those green eyes. What do you mean? I can't explain that. I mean it literally, that the woman she thinks she knows doesn't exist, that I'm a stranger wearing her lover's face in her mind. Instead, I shift closer, drawn by an invisible force I don't understand. I mean, maybe we've been going through the motions. Maybe we've forgotten how to really see each other. Her breath catches. We're close enough now that I can see the gold flecks in her eyes, can feel the warmth radiating from her skin. She smells like summer rain and promises I'll never be able to keep. Sarah. She breathes, and the false name on her lips sounds like absolution. Tell me something, I whisper. Something you've never told me before. The request hangs in the air between us, dangerous and intimate. She's quiet for so long I think she won't answer. Then, sometimes I lie awake at night, wondering if you really love me, or if you just love the idea of me. The confession cuts straight to my heart, because isn't that exactly what David has done? Created an idea of love, a fantasy life where he can be someone different, someone better. And what conclusion do you reach? I ask softly. That maybe it doesn't matter. Her voice is barely audible. Maybe the idea of love is enough. If it feels real when we're together. I want to tell her she deserves more than ideas and illusions. Want to tell her that love should be honest, should be whole. But the words stick in my throat because I'm the biggest illusion of all right now. Instead, I reach up and trace the line of her jaw with my fingertip. She shudders at the contact, her eyes fluttering closed. You feel real to me, I whisper, and it's the truest thing I've said since walking through her door. Her eyes open, locking with mine. So do you, more real than you have in months. The admission breaks something open between us. She leans into my touch, and I find myself memorizing the texture of her skin, the way her breathing changes when I'm near. I want to show you something, she says suddenly, standing and extending her hand. I should refuse, should make excuses and leave before this goes any further. But her fingers are warm and certain, and I find myself following her down a hallway, lined with photographs. They're all of her and David, laughing at beaches I've never seen, kissing under Christmas trees that aren't ours, living a life that exists in parallel to mine, complete and separate and perfect. This was our first trip together, she says, stopping at a photo of them in Paris. David's arm is around her waist, his smile genuine in a way I haven't seen in years. He told me he'd never been in love before. Not real love. The lie tastes bitter in my mouth. David told me the same thing on our honeymoon in Italy. The same words, the same promise, just a different woman to hear them. Do you believe him? I ask. She's quiet for a long moment, studying the photo. I want to, but sometimes she trails off, shaking her head. Sometimes what? Sometimes I feel like I'm competing with someone I can't see, like part of him is always somewhere else, with someone else. She turns to me, vulnerability written across her features. Do you ever feel like that? Like you're not enough? The question steals my breath, because yes, I know exactly what she means. I've felt David's absence even when he was right beside me. Felt the way he held pieces of himself apart. Now I know where those pieces went. All the time. I admit that. She steps closer, close enough that our bodies almost touch. Not right now, though. Right now, you feel completely here, completely mine. The possessive edge to her voice sends heat spiraling through me. I should step back, should remember why I came here. Instead, I find myself reaching for her, my hands settling on her hips. Maybe I am, I whisper. Her pupils dilate, and for a heartbeat, the world narrows to just this. Her breath on my lips, her heartbeat against my palms. The way she looks at me like I'm everything she's ever wanted. Then the front door rattles, and we spring apart. Sarah, I'm home. David's voice echoes through the apartment, and panic floods my veins. I'm trapped, no back exit. No way to explain my presence here. The woman beside me straightens her clothes, smooths her hair, transforms back into the perfect girlfriend. He's early, she whispers, confusion clouding her features. Footsteps approach the hallway. I have seconds before my husband rounds the corner and finds me in his other life, with his other woman, wearing an expression that will damn us all. Time fractures. David appears in the hallway, and for a suspended moment, none of us breathe. His eyes move from the woman beside me, his Sarah, to me, his wife standing where I shouldn't exist. The color drains from his face like water from a broken glass. Claire, my real name, falls from his lips, foreign and sharp in this space that was never meant to hold it. Sarah's head snaps toward me, confusion and betrayal warring in her green eyes. Claire, who's Claire? I watch my husband's carefully constructed world begin to crumble. 7 years of marriage, 3 years of lies, all colliding in this hallway lined with their stolen happiness. I can explain, David starts, but Sarah cuts him off. No. Her voice is steady, dangerous. Let her explain. She turns to me, and I see the moment understanding dawns. Because you're not who I think you are you? The question hangs between us like a blade. I could lie, could try to salvage something from this wreckage. Instead, I find myself stepping closer to her, drawn by the fire in her eyes even as her world burns. I'm his wife, I say quietly. The words land like physical blows. Sarah staggers back, her hand flying to her throat. David makes a sound like he's been shot. Wife? Sarah's voice cracks on the word. But you told me. She whirls on David. You said you'd never been married. You said I was the only one. You are, David says desperately. I mean, you were. It's complicated, don't. Sarah's voice cuts through his stammering like ice. Just don't. She turns back to me, her eyes blazing. How long? 7 years, I whisper. She laughs, and the sound is broken glass and bitter wine. 7 years. And I thought 3 was forever. She looks between us, her beautiful face twisting with pain. So what is this? What am I? The weekend entertainment? Sarah, please. David reaches for her, but she jerks away from his touch like it burns. Don't touch me. Her chest heaves with each breath. Don't you dare touch me. The silence that follows is deafening. We stand in a triangle of destruction, each of us bleeding from wounds we can't see. Then Sarah does something unexpected. She looks at me, really looks at me, and asks, did you know? Before today? I shake my head. I followed him. I thought. I trail off, realizing how pathetic it sounds. I thought he was having an affair. He is, she says flatly. We are. I correct, and the admission surprises us both. Sarah's eyes widen. What do you mean? I step closer to her, ignoring David's sharp intake of breath. I mean, I've been sitting on your couch for 2 hours, drinking your tea, holding your hand. I mean, when you looked at me, I felt more alive than I have in years. Claire. David's voice is a warning, but I don't look at him, can't look at him. All my attention is focused on the woman in front of me, the woman who somehow feels like the missing piece of myself. You felt it too. I continue, my voice growing stronger. That pull, that recognition, like we knew each other before we met. Sarah's breathing grows shallow. That's impossible, is it? I reach toward her, stopping just short of contact. When you touched my forehead earlier, what did you feel? She's quiet for a long moment, her eyes locked on mine. Like coming home, she whispers finally. David makes a strangled sound. This is insane. You two don't even know each other, don't we? Sarah asks, never breaking eye contact with me. Because she's right. I felt it the moment she walked in today. Like she was different. Like she trails off, color rising in her cheeks. Like she was who you were waiting for. I finish for her. The admission hangs in the air between us, electric and impossible. Sarah's lips part, and I see the exact moment she stops fighting what we both feel. Yes, she breathes. David steps between us, his face flushed with anger and desperation. Stop this, both of you. You're both in shock. You're not thinking clearly. I'm thinking more clearly than I have in years. Sarah says, her eyes never leaving mine. Are you? The question is directed at me, and I know my answer will change everything. I could choose safety, choose the familiar lie of my marriage, could walk away from this moment and pretend it never happened. Instead, I step around David, closing the distance between Sarah and me, until we're close enough that I can feel her breath on my skin. I've never been more certain of anything in my life. I whisper. Her hand comes up to cup my cheek, and the contact sends electricity racing through my veins. He kept us apart, she murmurs. Kept us from finding each other. Not anymore. I breathe and lean into her touch. David's voice cuts through the moment like a knife. I won't let you do this. I won't let you destroy everything I've built. Sarah laughs, the sound sharp and wild. You destroyed it yourself the moment you lied to us both. She turns back to me, her thumb tracing the line of my cheekbone. I don't even know your real name, Claire, I whisper. Claire Elizabeth Morrison. Claire, she repeats, and my name on her lips sounds like a benediction. I'm Sarah Kate Williams. Sarah, I breathe back, and the space between us disappears. Our lips meet in a kiss that tastes like freedom and feels like coming home. Every nerve ending in my body comes alive at once. This is what I've been missing. This is what love is supposed to feel like. When we break apart, both breathing hard. David is staring at us with something that might be understanding or might be rage. Now what? Sarah whispers against my lips. I look around the apartment, their apartment, built on lies and stolen time, then back at her. Now we write our own story, I say. The silence in the apartment stretches like a held breath. David stands frozen, watching his carefully constructed world collapse into something he never imagined. Sarah and I haven't moved apart, can't move apart, our foreheads still touching, hands still intertwined. This is madness, he finally whispers. You can't rewrite 7 years, 3 years, everything we've built on what? Sarah's voice is steady now, deadly calm. On lies, on stolen weekends and careful scheduling. She finally looks at him, and I see the exact moment her love transforms into something else. You never loved either of us. You loved the game. That's not true, David says desperately. I love you both. That's why I couldn't choose. You never had to choose, I interrupt, understanding flooding through me. Because you never saw us as real people. We were roles you cast for your perfect fantasy. Sarah's grip on my hand tightens. The devoted wife, she says quietly. The passionate girlfriend. I continue. To halves of what you thought you needed, we say together. David's face crumples. It wasn't like that. I was protecting you both. Protecting what we had. No. Sarah steps forward, and her movement brings her body flush against mine. You were protecting yourself. From having to be honest. From having to be whole. The contact sends heat spiraling through me, awareness of her curves, her warmth. The way she fits against me like she was made for this moment. I can feel David watching us. Can sense his growing desperation. But all my focus narrows to the woman in my arms. Sarah, I whisper, and her name tastes like possibility. She turns toward me. Her green eyes dark with something that might be desire or might be defiance. Maybe both. Tell me what you want, Claire, right now, in this moment. Not what you think you should want, not what's safe or proper. Tell me what you actually want. The question strips away every defense I've ever built. I could lie, could choose the easy path. But standing here in the wreckage of David's deception, I find I'm done with lies. You, I breathe. I want you. Her pupils dilate, and she reaches up to frame my face with both hands. Even though we just met, even though this is insane, especially because it's insane. I whisper back, I've been living in a careful, reasonable marriage for 7 years, and I've never felt this alive. Behind us, David makes a sound of protest, but Sarah doesn't even glance his way. Her attention is completely focused on me, like I'm the only thing in her universe that matters. I want you too, she admits, her voice barely audible. From the moment you walked in today, I felt like I was waking up from a dream I didn't know I was having. Our mouths meet again, and this kiss is different from the first. Deeper, hungrier, full of promise and possibility. I taste her surrender and offer my own in return. My hands find the small of her back, pulling her closer, and she makes a soft sound that goes straight to my core. Stop. David's voice cracks across the moment. Please, just stop and think about what you're doing. We break apart, both breathing hard, but don't step away from each other. Sarah's lipstick is smudged, her hair mussed, and she's never looked more beautiful. We are thinking, Sarah says without looking at him. Maybe for the first time, you're strangers. He insists, you don't know each other. It's just shock, rebellion, is it? I ask Sarah, my thumb tracing her swollen lips. Does this feel like rebellion to you? She shakes her head slowly. It feels like recognition. You're both crazy, David says, but his voice has lost its conviction. This will never work. You'll realize that when the shock wears off, when you remember your real lives, our real lives. Sarah laughs, and the sound is wild and free. You mean the lives where we were both pretending to be satisfied with half a man, where we were both settling for scraps of attention and calling it love. I see David flinch at her words, see the truth of them hit home. Because she's right. I've been living on scraps for years, telling myself it was enough because I didn't know what real hunger felt like. Now I do. Show me, I whisper to Sarah, my hands sliding up to tangle in her auburn hair. Show you what? She breathes. Show me what love feels like when someone chooses you completely. When you don't have to share, don't have to compete, don't have to pretend to be satisfied with pieces. Her eyes flame with understanding and desire. Here, now, I glance around the apartment, David's fantasy refuge, built on deception and maintained with lies. Why not here? It's already broken. Let's break it completely. Sarah's smile is sharp and beautiful and full of dangerous promise. David, she says without looking at him, get out. What? This is my apartment too. No, I interrupt, finally, turning to face my husband, soon-to-be ex-husband. It's not. It never was. It was just another set piece in your elaborate performance. Claire, please, he tries one more time. We can fix this. We can go home. Talk it through. There's no home. I tell him gently. There never really was. We've both been living in a house built on quicksand. Sarah's hand finds mine again, her fingers intertwining with mine with perfect familiarity. The key, David. He stares at us for a long moment, and I see him finally understand that this isn't a phase or a breakdown or a moment of madness he can talk us out of. This is us choosing each other over the safe lie of him. Slowly, he reaches into his pocket and places the apartment key on the hallway table. I never meant for this to happen, he says quietly. I know, Sarah says, and her voice is almost kind. That's the problem. You never meant for any of it to happen. You just let it, and expected us to be grateful for whatever pieces you threw our way. David looks between us one more time, as if memorizing something he's about to lose forever. Then, without another word, he turns and walks away. The front door closes behind him with a soft click, and suddenly we're alone in the ruins of his fantasy, free to build something real from the wreckage. Sarah turns back to me, her eyes bright with tears and possibility. Now what do we do? I pull her close, pressing my forehead against hers. Now we find out who we really are when we're not performing for someone else's idea of love. The apartment feels different with David gone, lighter somehow, as if his presence had been a weight neither of us realized we were carrying. Sarah and I stand in the living room, still holding hands, still breathing in sync. The late afternoon sun slants through the windows, casting everything in golden light. It should feel surreal, this moment suspended between our old lives and whatever comes next. Instead, it feels like the most natural thing in the world. I should be terrified, Sarah says softly, her thumb tracing circles on my palm. My entire life just imploded, and I should be terrified. Are you? I ask. She considers this, tilting her head as she studies my face. No, I feel. She pauses, searching for the right word. Free. For the first time in 3 years, I feel completely free. I understand exactly what she means. The cage I've been living in, the careful marriage, the polite distance, the pretense that everything was fine has finally broken open. The freedom is intoxicating. What do we do now? I ask. I mean, practically speaking, I have a house, a job, a life, built around someone who was never really there. Sarah finishes. I have those things too. An apartment across town, friends who think they know me, a career I chose to impress a man who was lying to me from day one. We look at each other, the weight of our tangled situation settling between us. It should be overwhelming, the divorce proceedings, the explanations, the complete restructuring of two lives that were never as stable as we thought. Instead, I find myself smiling. You know what's funny? What? I came here to confront you. I thought you were the enemy, the other woman who was stealing my husband's attention. I lift our joined hands, pressing a kiss to her knuckles. I never imagined you were the answer. Her smile in return is radiant. The answer to what? To why I always felt like something was missing. Why I was never quite satisfied, never quite whole. I step closer until we're sharing breath again. I thought the problem was David's absence. Turns out the problem was your absence. She laughs, and the sound is pure joy. That might be the most romantic thing anyone's ever said to me, even though we met 6 hours ago, especially because we met 6 hours ago. Her hands come up to frame my face. Claire, I need you to know something. This isn't just rebellion or revenge or some kind of breakdown. What I feel for you, it's real. It's more real than anything I felt in 3 years with him. I know, I whisper. I feel it too. Our kiss this time is soft, exploratory, full of promise rather than desperation. I taste possibility on her lips, feel the future opening up in her touch. When we part, we're both smiling. So what's the plan? Sarah asks. Do we take this slow, date properly, pretend we met under normal circumstances? I consider this, then shake my head. We tried slow and proper with other people. We tried normal. Look where it got us. I pull her closer, reveling in the way she fits perfectly against me. Besides, what's normal about falling in love with your husband's other girlfriend? Other wife, you mean? Sarah corrects with a grin. In every way that mattered, that's what I was. Then what does that make us? Her smile turns wicked. Widows, maybe. Since the man we both thought we loved never actually existed. The metaphor makes us both laugh, and I feel something tight in my chest finally loosen. Widows starting over. I agree. What do widows do when they're ready to live again? Whatever they want, Sarah says, her voice dropping to a whisper that sends shivers down my spine. Wherever they want, with whoever they want. The implication hangs between us, electric and full of possibility. I look around the apartment at the furniture chosen for David's fantasy life, at the photographs documenting a relationship built on lies. We can't stay here, I say. Too many ghosts. Agreed. Your place? I think about my house, about the bedroom I shared with David, the kitchen where we ate silent dinners, the living room where we watched TV without really talking. Too many ghosts there too. Sarah's grin is brilliant. Then we start somewhere new, somewhere that's just ours. Is that crazy? Starting over completely? New apartment, new life, new everything. Probably, Sarah admits. But crazy seems to be working for us so far. I can't argue with that logic. 6 hours ago, I thought I was happily married. Now I'm planning a new life with a woman I barely know but somehow understand completely. There's one more thing, I say, suddenly serious. The practical stuff, the divorce, dividing assets, dealing with friends and family who won't understand. We'll figure it out, Sarah says firmly. All of it, together. She pauses, her expression growing thoughtful. Unless you're having second thoughts. The question is asked lightly, but I can hear the vulnerability underneath, the fear that maybe this is too good to be true, too fast, too impossible to last. I answer by pulling her into my arms and kissing her with everything I have. All the love I've been holding back, all the passion I've been suppressing, all the hope I never dared to feel. When we break apart, we're both breathless. Does that feel like second thoughts to you? I ask. Her smile could power the city. No, that feels like a beginning. Good, I whisper against her lips, because I'm done with endings. Done with half measures and careful compromises and settling for pieces of what I want. What do you want? She asks, echoing her question from earlier. This time, my answer comes without hesitation. Everything. I want it all with you. The messy, complicated, impossible, beautiful, all of it. Even though it's crazy, especially because it's crazy. She laughs, pulling me closer until there's no space left between us. Then let's be crazy together. Outside, the sun sets over a city full of possibilities. Inside this apartment that was never really David's, never really ours, Sarah and I hold each other and plan a future that exists only in potential. But as her heartbeat syncs with mine, as her breath becomes my breath, I know with absolute certainty that this potential is more real than any life I've lived before. Sometimes the best things begin in the ruins of something else. Sometimes you have to lose everything you thought you wanted to find what you actually need. Sometimes love finds you in the last place you'd ever think to look, in the arms of the woman who was supposed to be your rival, who turns out to be your salvation instead. I love you, Sarah whispers against my neck, the words soft and sure and completely right. I love you too, I whisper back, and mean it more than I've ever meant anything in my life. The double life is over. are real. Life messy and complicated and absolutely perfect is just beginning.